Good day everyone, I am Rinalyn B. Del Rosario, together with my group mates, Miss Alisa Santos, Miss Merily Basquinia, Miss Micaela de Guzman, and Miss Mara Bondoc. Our topic are Lesson 1, the macro skill of communication, and Lesson 2, teaching for meaning and accuracy. Now, I first discuss the macro skill of communication. So let's move on the objectives. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to first familiarize themselves with the macro skills that are essential for them to communicate effectively. Second, see and understand the interconnectedness of this macro skill in communication. Third, draw out possible topics for instruction based on their understanding of the macro skill and the sample classroom activities. And last is create a proficiency criteria for each macro skill. Next is instructional materials. A copy of an exemplar of a printed text in the learner's mother tongue, e.g. a short story, new articles, folktale, song lyrics, video recording that show an individual's proficiency in speaking and listening, and sample commercial video appropriate to young learners. These materials may be prepared by the teacher or the student may be asked to prepare them prior to this lesson. So, bago tayo tumungo sa aralin na ito, kailangan muna natin gamitan ng mga instructional material gaya ng mga maikling kwento, litrato, at mga video recording na nagpapakita ng kausayan sa pagsasalita at pakikinig. So, ngayon, magtungo na tayo sa una, activate. Sa activate, sinasabi dito na, in learning any language, there are skills that everyone needs to acquire and master for him or her to communicate effectively. We call them macro skills. Macro skills are defined by the skill that constitute it: speaking, reading, writing, and listening. Recent literature adds two more skills, representing and viewing, Barrett 2016. They are now commonly called as the 6 macro skill of communication. Sa pag-aaral ng anumang mga wika, may mga naging kasanayan tayo na kailangan natin mga matamo at nakabisado ng lahat para sa mabisang pakikipag-usap natin. Ito ay tinatawag nga na macro skill. Ang macro skill ay binubuo ng mga pagsasalita, pagbabasa, pagsusulat, at pakikinig. Ano nga ba ang macro skill? The macro skill is the ability to see the bigger picture and understand how all the smaller details fit together to create a cohesive whole. It is essential for success in any field, as it allows individuals to make informed decisions and solve complex problems. Developing these skills can lead to improved critical thinking, strategic planning, and overall effectiveness in both personal and professional endeavors. According to Barrett 2016, ang macro skill ay may 6 na ngang skills. Ano nga ba ang mga ito? Ito ay ang speaking, reading, writing, listening, representing, at viewing. Ano nga ba ang mga kahulugan ng mga ito? Ngayon, tatalakayin ko sa inyo kung ano ang mga kahulugan ng bawat isa. Una ay ang speaking. Language is a tool for communication. We communicate with others, express our ideas, and know others' ideas as well. In primary school, elocution and recitation are the main sources to master the sounds, rhythms, and intonation of the English language through simple reproduction. So ngayon, ang pwede nating gamiting example sa mga ganitong skill or activity sa grade 1 to 3 is oral with rewards. Pwede rin ang comparing at ang storytelling. Also, for grade 4 to 6, pwede tayong mag-role play, brainstorming, interview, and reporting sa pamamagitan nitong speaking May express nila yung mga ideas nila and ganun din sa iba. May express nila yung mga idea nila at makakapag-share pa sila. Second is reading. Reading is a fundamental skills for learners, not just for learning but for life, with reading being defined as the ability to draw meaning from the printed page and interpret this information appropriately. Reading is a learning skills. It helps you improve all parts of the English language: vocabulary, spelling, grammar, and writing. Also, reading is imagine that your life what would be like you didn't know how to read. Approximately, only 80% of the world's population is reported to be able to read. Using skimming naman or scanning techniques to read quickly is highly effective. But while reading underlining of keyword is a must reading skills, help the student grab the content and draw conclusion, and other reading skills developed includes the ability to comprehend and use for visiting and speaking, because you need to first hear a word before you can say it. Say a word you can read it, and read a word before you can write it. Third is writing. Writing provides a learner with physical evidence of his achievements and he can measure his improvement. It helps to consolidate their grasp of vocabulary and structure and complements the other language skills. It helps to understand the text and write composition. Also, writing po, it can foster the learner's ability to summarize and to use language freely. To write flawless language, one should excel in writing skills. Importance should be give in composition and creative writing. There has a four main goals student achievement. First, to write clearly and creatively convey a message. Second, to communicate ideas, thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Third, to understand what writing is a reflective and interactive process. And the last one is to understand the different purposes, audience, and forms of writing. And the fourth skills is listening. Listening is the most important skill in communication. This communication technique requires the listener to understand, interpret, and evaluate what he or she hears. It is the ability of a person to hear and receive a message and to be able to understand the information accurately. Also, it is a key to all effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. Also, communication breaks down and the center of message easily become frustrated or irritated. And some activities na pwede natin gamitin para sa grade 1 to 3 ay gaya ng Bring Me. And also, pwede rin naman siya sa grade 1 to 6. Para naman sa grade 4 to 6 ay ang mga watching films. The fifth skills is representing skills. Representing skills associated with macro skills is a topic of interest in various fields of study. In the field of English instructions, researchers have explored ways to improve macro skills such as speaking and listening to enhance English performance among students. And the last skills is viewing. Viewing enhances listening skills when students attend to nonverbal communication and visual elements of performance, video, television, film, and multimedia presentation. Also, viewing is a process that supports oracy and literacy, understanding visual images and connecting them, accompanying spoken or written words. It involves in interpreting the image for which words stand and connecting visual image in videos, computer programs, and website. Ang mga activities na pwede natin gamitin o ipagawa sa kanila is sa grade 1 to 3 is pwede tayong mag-show ng mga flashcards, videos, and photographs. Para naman sa grade 4 to 6, pwede tayong magpagawa o magpanood ng mga video multimedia, and pwede tayong mag-present ng mga comics, newspaper, and mga charts. At iyon ang mga kahulugan ng 6 na macro skill. Ngayon na italakay ko na sa inyo ang mga kahulugan nito, ngayon ay magtungo naman tayo sa language macro skills. This language macro skills is divided into productive and receptive skills. Sinasabi dito na ang macro skills ay nahati sa dalawa. Ito nga ay ang productive at receptive skills. Ngayon ay magbibigay tayo ng task. Your task is to classify the 6 macro skills mentioned earlier as productive or receptive. Write your answer in the box provided. Ngayon, yung 6 na macro skill na sinabi ko sa inyo o pinaliwanag ay hahatiin natin sa dalawa. Ilalagay natin siya kung sa productive ba siya o sa receptive skills. Unahin natin ngayon ang productive skills. Ano nga ba ang mga nakapaloob dito sa productive skills, or another term is output skills? Meron itong 3 mga skills na nakapaloob dito. Ito ay ang speaking, writing, at ang representing. So, bakit nga ba sila dito nakapaloob? Because when you speak, when you write, and when you represent, you are producing something. So, it like when you talk about a particular topic in your report, so you are already giving away information. You are providing the audience members several ideas, various ideas, and information. Same is to when you write. Of course, you are giving away information. You are providing people a chance to see, to have a good grasp of what your ideas are being a writer. Ngayon ay nabanggit ko na ang mga 3 nakapaloob sa productive skills. Ngayon naman ay magtungo tayo sa sumunod na skill, ang receptive skills. Diba nabanggit ko nga sa inyo, ang productive skills ay may 3 nakapaloob. So 3 din ang nakapaloob dito sa ating receptive skills. Ito yung mga natitira na skills, ang listening, reading, and viewing. Sa receptive skills naman sila nakapaloob. Another term is input skills. These are considered input skills. Why? Because whenever we listen, whenever we read, and whenever we view, we are getting something. Receptive skills because we are receiving something. Something that we do not know. If we had listened to a discussion lecture about it, if you read something about it, or if you view something about it, we know already. We acquire knowledge. That is why we receive something. We receive input. Ngayon, alam nyo na kung ano ang mga nakapaloob sa productive skills at receptive skills. Basta ang lagi nyong tatandaan, kapag productive skills, ang mga nakapaloob dito ay ang speaking, writing, at ang representing. Sa receptive skills naman, ang mga nakapaloob dito ay listening, reading, and viewing. Next is analyze. At ngayon naman ay tatalakayin natin ang pangalawa. Ito nga ay ang analyze. Sinasabi dito na below are example language classroom activities. For each activity, describe to do following. First is identify the dominant macro skill being targeted by the activity. And second is list the other macro skills that are required to be used by the learners in order to execute the activity. So, sinasabi dito, i-identify lang natin kung anong mga skill siya nakapaloob. So, first is Activity 1. The teacher reads the instruction on how children should wash their hands. After, the learners are expected to demonstrate the correct way of washing their hands. Ano nga ba ang ating gagamitin sa dominant macro skill? Ang ating gagamitin dito ay ang reading dahil nagbabasa ng instruction yung teacher about sa paghuhugas ng kamay. Sa other type of skills naman, ano ang pwede natin gamitin dito? Ang pwede natin gamitin dito ay ang viewing at representing dahil sa viewing kasi habang binabasa yung instruction, syempre dapat ide-demo yon para maintindihan ng mga students. Sa representing naman ay kasi nilalagay yung inexpect na yung learners ay ipapakita nila yung correct way ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Ngayon ay activity 2. Sa activity 2 ay ang the teacher asks the learners to bring a family picture to class. She or he is asked to talk about the picture. So, anong dominant macro skill ang pwede natin gamitin dito? Ang pwede natin gamitin dito ay ang representing. Bakit? Yung family picture na pinadala ng teacher, ipe-present nila yon sa klase. Tapos magkukwento sila about doon nga sa family nila. Mag-share sila ng story about sa life nila habang pinapakita nila yung picture. Sa other tip skills naman, ano ang pwede natin gamitin dito? Ang pwede natin gamitin dito ay ang viewing. Bakit? Kasi yung mga pictures na dala-dala nila, ipapakita nila yon sa mga classmate and teacher nila. Kaya magiging viewing iyon kasi makikita ng bawat student at ng teacher. And that's all in my part, and I will call Miss Alisa Santos to continue this report. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm Alisa P. Santos and I'm going to continue the report. Activity 3. The teacher shares a story to the learners. She slowly tells the story and pauses occasionally. She asks questions in between pauses like, what do you think will happen next? So, what is the dominant macro skill? So, pwedeng reading. So, syempre, dahil nag-share ng story yung teacher sa students. So, nagbabasa siya ng story. Pwedeng ganon. And then, next naman is yung listening. So, di ba, kailangan nakikinig ka kasi sabi dito, nagtatanong yung teacher. So, kailangan nakikinig ka para kapag ka tinanong ng teacher yung what do you think will happen next? So, meron ka ng idea. Magkakaroon ka ng idea doon sa itatanong ng teacher. So, reading and listening. So, yung other skills tab is pwedeng yung viewing. So, pagka nag-share ng story, so pwedeng may ipinapakitang picture, mga ganyan. Activity 4. The teacher introduces card making to his learners. He then tells them that they are going to create and design their own thank you cards that they will give to their parents. So, the dominant macro skill is pwedeng writing kasi gagawa sila ng card na ibibigay nila sa kanilang parents. So, thank you card yung gagawin nila. So, magsusulat sila dito. And other skills tab is representing. So, pwedeng yung ginawa nilang yung card na ginawa nila, yung thank you card para sa kanilang parents is ipe-present nila. Activity 5. The teacher shows the learners a pop-up book of a local folktale. Learners are asked to talk about their favorite pictures from the book. So, yung dominant macro skill dito is yung speaking. So, because yung teacher is nag-present ng pop-up book of a local folktale. So, dinidiscuss niya yung local folktale, pre-present niya. And then, yung other skills tab is viewing. So, syempre, meron siyang nakaprepare na pop-up book. So, may mga picture doon na maipapakita niya sa student. So, sa pamamagitan nun, yung folktale, mas naiintindihan ng student kasi may book siya na nakaprepare, may mga pictures. with your seatmate, discuss the following questions. So, since asynchronous tayo ngayon, yung mga questions na to is ako muna yung sasagot. Pero I hope na sa mga questions na to is may sagot din kayo. First, how did you arrive at the dominant skill for each activity? So, by analyzing the different situation in each activity. So, di ba kapag sa pamamagitan ng pag-analyze natin sa situation, di ba kanina yung activity, so di ba binasa natin yon, inanalyze natin yon para magkaroon tayo ng answer, di ba? So, di ba? Sa mga situation na yun, sa pamamagitan ng pag-analyze natin, nalaman natin kung saan siyang dominant macro skill pasok. So, sa pamamagitan ng pag-analyze. Next, what did you notice about the relationship between and among the macro skills? So, acquiring language skills primarily involves listening comprehension. Yet, of the dominant macro skills, which is the listening, reading, speaking, writing, and viewing, it is often difficult and inaccessible for second and foreign language learners due to its implicit process. The secondary skill, yung speaking, precedes listening cognitively. The oral skills precede the graphic skills, such as reading and writing, as they form the circle of language learning process. Do you think it is possible that a single activity will top one macro skill? Why do you think so? I don't think it's possible for one activity to focus on only one macro skill because we must first employ a distinct listening skill. In order for the listener to comprehend, analyze, and assess what they hear, this communication approach is required. Reading is required in order to comprehend the instructions in order to do the task. For instance, students are given a sheet of paper with a text on it by the teacher, and they are instructed to read it until they understand the task at hand. After reading it, the student is required to respond to a few questions concerning the part of the text. Subsequently, the writing portion concentrates on improving pupils' phonics, understanding, mechanics, voice, or perspective, and sharing this perspective with others. In previous activity, you learned about the overlap and interconnectedness of the language macro skills. This task should help you understand the macro skills on a deeper level. From here, we will only focus on the 5 macro skills: reading, writing, listening, viewing, and speaking, covered by the Mother Tongue Curriculum Guide prescribed by the Department of Education. So, makikita nyo may table dito. So, is a matrix that contains the language macro skills. You will find in the column 2 some keywords that are related to the macro skill. So, sa column 1, ang nakalagay doon is language macro skill. Yung listening, speaking, reading, writing, and yung viewing. So, sa column 2 naman, nandun yung mga keywords nila na nakaprovide sa bawat isa. So, ang gagawin natin is kukumpletuhin natin yung table, sasagutan natin yung column 3 and yung column 4. So, sa column 3, ilalagay natin yung description ng bawat skill using the keywords in column 2. So, magbe-base tayo sa column 2 para masagutan natin yung column 3. So, and i-identify natin yung possible lesson topics in teaching on a specific language macro skill. So, sa column 1, yung language macro skill. Sa column 2 is yung keywords. Sa column 3 is description of the skill. And then sa column 4 is yung possible lesson topic. So, first is yung listening. So, nasa column 1 siya. So, ang keywords niya is understand, interpret, and evaluate. So, ano ba yung pwede nating description of the skill? Ano ba yung pwede nating ilagay doon? So, pwede siya na the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. So, second naman is listening is one of the most important skills you can have. An active process of getting information and ideas. So, di ba tama naman na kapag nakikinig tayo, may natututunan tayo. So, nakaka-receive tayo ng information and ideas. Yung possible lesson topic niya, may naka-provide na dito. Yung example is listening for details. The second one is speaking. So, ang keywords niya is building and sharing meaning. So, ano ba yung pwedeng description of the skills sa speaking? So, pwedeng first, the skills which allows us to communicate effectively. They give us the ability to convey information verbally and in a way that the listener can understand. So, second, it's one of the most important parts of language. Learning as speaking is how we tend to communicate in everyday life. So, totoo naman na napaka-importante ng speaking para makapag-communicate tayo sa araw-araw. So, possible lesson topics sa column 4, pwede siyang interview, pwede rin siyang debate. So, the next one is reading. So, ang keywords niya is draw meaning and interpret information. So, ano ba yung pwede nating ilagay sa column 3 sa description of the skill para sa reading? So, it is the ability to decode meaning from a text. The skills include phonics, word recognition, vocabulary, and fluency. For one to be a proficient reader, one has to possess these vital skills. So, ano naman yung pwede nating ilagay sa column 4 sa possible lesson or lesson topics para sa reading? So, pwedeng making meaning of the text. First yon. So, second naman is understand what is being read. The third one for language macro skill is writing. So, ano ba yung keyword niya? So, use symbols. Description of the skill, it is the skills that allows us to explore thoughts and ideas. And the next one is, it is about discovering ideas and thinking about how to communicate. So, ano ba yung possible lesson topics for writing? So, pwede siyang research, di ba? And so, the last one is viewing for the language macro skills. So, ang keywords niya ay perceiving, examining, interpreting, and constructing meaning. So, ano ba yung description of the skill for viewing? So, refers to perceiving, examining, interpreting, and constructing meaning from visual images. So, ano ba yung possible lesson or topics for viewing? So, pwede siyang film viewing activities. Pwede din siyang role playing. And that's all po. Thank you. And to continue the report, here's Miss Marilei Basquinia.
Good day everyone, especially to Prof. Chi. I'm Marilei Basquinia and I will discuss the part apply. When or how do you know that a language macro skill has been acquired and mastered by a learner? The mastery of a language macro skill, such as speaking, listening, reading, or writing, can be assessed through various indicators. So, we all familiar kung ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng macro skills or makrong kasanayan in Tagalog. Dahil naturo na sa atin to in our previous subject, itong pagbabasa, pakikinig, panonood at pagsusulat. So, paano nga ba natin ma-assess kung ang mga learners natin ay na-acquired ba or na-master na ang macro skill? So the first one is accuracy. The learner consistently produce correct grammatical structures, vocabulary usage, and pronunciation. So the first one is accuracy. The learner consistently produce correct grammatical structures, vocabulary usage, and pronunciation relevant to the skill. So the second one is fluency. The ability to communicate smoothly and confidently without hesitation or frequent pauses demonstrates mastery. And the third is comprehension. Understanding and interpreting spoken or written language accurately, including context and implied meaning. And the fourth one is complexity. Using a variety of sentence structures, vocabulary, and expressions appropriate to the skill level, showing an understanding of both basic and advanced aspect of the language. Next, adaptability. Applying the skill in different contexts, situations, and with various or written materials. And next, feedback. Receiving positive feedback from peers, teachers, or native speakers regarding of proficiency and improvement in the specific skill area. And the last one is performance in tasks. Successfully completing tasks or activities that acquire the application of the specific language skill, such as giving a presentation, holding a conversation, comprehending a complex text, or writing an essay. So, yung mga nasabi ko po, dito po natin masasabi kung ang isang learner ay na-acquired na or na-master na ang language macro skill. So, the next one, what does proficiency in each of the macro skill mean? Proficiency in each language macro skills entails. So, ano nga po ba yung meaning ng proficiency? Proficiency, ito yung kahusayan or kakayanan sa isang bagay tulad ng makrong kasanayan or macro skill. So, the first one ay speaking or pagsasalita. Ang kakayahan nila na maipahayag ang sarili ng mataas, tama at angkop sa iba't ibang sitwasyon gamit ng tamang gramatika, bokabularyo at pagbigkas. So, ang pangalawa naman po ay listening or pakikinig. Ang kakayahan nilang maunawaan ng tama ang sinasalitang wika, kabilang ang pag-unawa sa iba't ibang mga accent at antas ng formalidad. So, the third one is reading or pagbasa. Ang kasanayan sa pag-unawa sa mga nakasulat na teksto, mula sa simple hanggang sa komplikadong material, pag-unawa sa mga pangunahing ideya, detalye at tema ng kanilang mga binabasa. At ang panghuli naman po ay ang writing or ang pagsulat nila. Ang kakayahan nilang gumawa or mag-ugnay ng maayos na pagkakabalagkas na nakasulat ng mga teksto, mabisang paghahatid ng mga ideya gamit ang mga angkop na gramatika, bokabularyo at estilo. So, proficiency in each skill is assessed based on the accuracy, fluency, comprehension, and complexity with learners, demonstrating the ability to use the skill independently and adaptability in real-life situation. Kagaya nga po ng discuss ko sa una, malalaman natin kung ang isang learner ba ay may kahusayan na sa macro skill. Kagaya ng mga unang na-discuss ko, katulad na ng mga accuracy, fluency, at comprehension. And then, what are the measures of proficiency for each macro skill? Dito nga po ang sukat ng kahusayan or kakayanan ng language or macro skill. Una din po natin ay speaking. Kapag sila ay accuracy in grammar and vocabulary usage, fluency in speech without frequent hesitation or pauses. Number 2, listening. Understanding spoken language at various speeds and accents, ability to grasp main ideas, details, and implied meanings. The third one is reading, comprehension of written text including main ideas and details, ability to understand vocabulary in context, and lastly, writing, accuracy in grammar, punctuation, and spelling, ability to organize and information logically and effectively, And the last one is using appropriate vocabulary and style for the intended audience and purposes. So, measure of proficiency of each language macro skill are essential for promoting effective communication, supporting individual growth, and facilitating participation in multilingual and multicultural societies. For their activities, your final task in learning for the lesson on macro skills involves determining the measure of proficiency for each macro skill. The class will be divided into 5 and each group assigned in a specific macro skill. So each group is expected to accomplish the following. The first one po is find an exemplar or model material that are exhibit proficiency of an individual in a particular macro skill. So, ang kanilang gagawin po ay maghahanap lang sila ng isang halimbawa or modelo na material na mapapakita sila ng kahusayan ng isang individual patungkol sa isang makrong kasanayan. Example of this is for reading and writing, a copy of an exemplar of a printed text in the learner's mother tongue, example of short story, news article, and folktale or song lyrics. For speaking and listening naman po, a video of recording that shows an individual proficiency in speaking and listening. And the third one is for viewing, a sample of commercial video appropriate to young learners. After doing the activity, we'll analyze the material by answering these questions. The first one is, what are the strengths of the exemplar or the model material? The next one po is, why do you consider the material as an exemplar? What are the distinctive characteristics of the material that depicts proficiency in a particular macro skill? And the second activity naman is create proficiency criteria for the macro skill assigned to your group. For lesson synthesis, the first question is, what new insights did you learn from this lesson? Number 2, what is the importance of understanding the language macro skill in relation to your responsibility of teaching mother tongue as your subject? And now I will discuss the lesson 2, teaching for meaning and accuracy. Lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to understand and differentiate teaching for meaning and accuracy, know and differentiate the most common teaching methods in language instruction, whole to part, part to whole, and balance method, analyze various instructional activities, and lastly, create instructional activities using the competencies from DepEd's curriculum guides of mother tongue. Activate. When you teach the language macro skill of listening, speaking and reading, writing and viewing, you are responsible in helping the learners build the competence and confidence in using these macro skills meaningfully and accurately. This is called as a balanced teaching method. By incorporating various instructional strategies for each skills, educators create a comprehensive learning experience that addresses different aspects of language acquisition, leading to a well-rounded linguistic proficiency. Dinedevelop din ng makrong kasanayan or language macro skills ang pakikipag-usap o ugnayan ng mga learners sa mga sitwasyon sa totoong buhay. According to Malone 2000, a balanced teaching method allows learner to successfully learn a language by, first, focusing on the parts of the language, teaching for accuracy, focusing on the parts of language, also known as teaching for accuracy, involves providing a explicit instruction on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and other linguistic components to ensure learners grasp the instructional aspect of the language correctly. This approach emphasizes accuracy in language use, helping learners develop a strong foundation in grammar rules, word usage, and pronunciation, which are essential for effective communication
It complements teaching for fluency, which emphasizes communication and language use in authentic context, to create a well-rounded language learning experience. By teaching for accuracy, tinuturo din dito kung paano gamitin ng mga learners ng tama ang kanilang grammar, pronunciation para magkaroon sila ng effective communication. Kasi kapag ang isang salita ay hindi natin maintindihan sa isang kausap mo, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng maayos na communication dahil magkaiba kayo ng salita or pronounce ng isang word. By teaching for accuracy, they will learn how to be a good communicator sa lahat ng mga nakakausap nila dahil natuto sila to have a fluency in speaking. And the next one is focusing on the whole text, teaching for meaning. Focusing on the whole text teaching or teaching for meaning refers to an instructional approach where the emphasis is placed on understanding the overall meaning and message conveyed by a text, rather than analyzing individual words or sentences. This method encourages students to comprehend the text as a whole, including its main ideas, themes, and context. It prioritizes comprehension and interpretation over isolated linguistic elements, aiming to deepen students' understanding of the text and its significance. In teaching for meaning, mas pinapalalim yung understanding ng student sa isang message dahil buong text na yung iniintindi nila at hindi na yung by words. Para mas malaman nila kung ano nga ba talaga yung idea ng isang text na binabasa nila. Dahil alam naman natin na kapag by word yung ina-analyze or binabasa natin, nagkakaiba tayo, magiging magkakaiba yung meaning na yun. But if you analyze yung buong text or word, mas mauunawaan natin kung ano nga ba yung meaning na to. And now for activity, let us check your understanding of teaching for meaning and accuracy. Read and understand the enumerated actual language classroom activities. Identify the focus of the instruction. Write TA in the blank if the activity highlights accuracy and TM if the activity highlights meaning. So the first one, a student show a sequence of pictures and she will be asked to tell the story. Is it TA or TM? And the second one is a student draws a picture of her favorite place and tells the class about it. The third one is a student follows dotted lines to form letters. The fourth one is a student matches the sound to its letter counterpart. And lastly, number 5, a student reads and writes her own name correctly. And that's all for my part. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, my name is Micaela de Guzman to continue the report. Malone 2001 compared the 3 teaching methods that are commonly used in teaching language in the early years. The part to whole, the whole to part, and the balance method. Sa part 2 whole daw po ay ang unang tinuturo po ang mga bahagi ng wika bago po ang kabuuan nito. Ito po ay ang paraan ng pag-aaral kung saan ang mga estudyante ay unang natutunan ng mga salitang pangunahing nagpapatakbo sa wika bago paunlarin at ito patungo sa mas malalim pa pong kaalaman. Sa whole to part din po ay ipinapakita po ang kabuuan ng wika bago po pumunta sa ibang bahagi nito. Ito ay pagtuturo kung saan po ang mga estudyante ay unang nahaharap po sa mga pangungusap o teksto bago pag-aralan ng mga elemento at ekstruktura po nito. Sa balance method naman po ay ginagamit po ang kombinasyon ng part to whole at whole to part. Sa pamamagitan po nito ay ang mga grupo ay nagbibigay po ng sapat na pansin sa mga bahagi at kabuuan ng wika upang masiguro po ng buong pag-unawa at pagpapaunlad ng kakayahan ng mga wika ng mga mag-aaral. Ang pag-aaral po ni Malone ay nagpapakita po ng may iba't ibang paraan ng pagkatuto ng wika sa mga unang panahon o unang taon at sa pagpili po ng tamang pamamaraan ay mahalaga pong matiyak ang epektibong pagkatuto po ng ating mga mag-aaral. Part 2 rule is the teaching method in which instructions begins with the most basic unit of language learning and works up to more complex aspect of language learning. More attention is given to skill development through drills and less attention is given to constructing meaning through language. Ang part 2 daw po ay isang paraan ng pagtuturo kung saan nagsisimula po ang pagtuturo sa pinaka-basic na unit ng pag-aaral ng wika at unti-unting umuusad patungo po sa mga mas komplikadong aspeto ng pag-aaral ng wika. Ayon po dito, mas binibigyan po ito ng pansin binibigyan po ito ng pansin ang pagpapaunlad ng kasaysayan sa pamamagitan po ng mga gawain tulad po ng mga drill at sa mga kaunting atensyon na ibinibigay po sa paglikha ng kahulugan sa pamamagitan po ng wika. Sa part 2 din po ay nakapokus po o nakatuon sa pagbuo ng kasanayan sa mga pangunahing unit ng wika tulad na lang po ng mga titik, salita at paggawa po ng pangungusap bago po paunlarin bago po ito paunlarin patungo po sa mas malalim na pag-unawa po ng wika. Ito din po ay naglalayong palakasin ng mga pangunahing nakasanayan sa wika bago po tayo pumunta sa mga mas komplikadong gawain tulad na lamang po ng pagbuo ng pangungusap o pag-unawa sa mas malalim na kahulugan ng teksto. On the other hand, the whole part-to-part teaching method emphasizes the importance of the learner's understanding of the context in which the language is used. This teaching method is emphasize the importance of meanings constructions in the learning use of his or her language. Dito daw po, sa kabilang banda daw po dito, ang whole to part na paraan po ay ng pagtuturo po ay nagbibigay diin po sa kahalagahan ng pag-unawa ng mga mag-aaral sa konteksto kung saan po ginagamit ang wika. Binibigyan din daw po ito ng diin ng paraang ito ang kahalagahan ng paglikha ng kahulugan sa pamamagitan ng wika ng mag-aaral. Sa whole to part din ay mahalaga ang pag-unawa ng mga mag-aaral sa kabuuan ng konteksto ng wika bago paapatin ang kanilang atensyon na sa mga bahagi nito. Ito po ay naglalayong magbigay ng mas mataas na impormasyon sa pagbuo po ng kahulugan sa pamamagitan ng wika kaysa sa pagtuon lamang sa mga pagsasanay tulad na lamang ng drill o iba pang kasanayan. Sa ganitong paraan po ng pagtuturo ay ang layunin ay hindi lamang po ang pagbuo ng kasanayan sa wika, kundi ang pagtutok din po sa pag-unawa ng mga mag-aaral sa kahulugan at konteksto ng wika sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pakikipagtalastasan. Balance method is the combination of the two methods described about which is yung part to whole and then yung whole to part. And now below are selected instructional activities that are believed to be example of the use of balance method. Now, try identify the activity that is being described in number 1 to 3. Use the list shown below. A. Shared reading. B. Interactive read loud. C. Guided reading. D. Independent reading. E. Shared writing. F. Interactive writing. Okay, are you ready? Okay, first, teachers select a big book that is slightly above the level of most students in the class. Teachers or students read out loud together. Up 10, the text contains rhyming words or patterns that are predictable for a student to read with, the teacher can cover up certain parts of the text, a letter, a word, or a phrase, to have students predict what makes sense based on the skill being covered. What is the answer? A. Shared reading. B. Interactive read aloud. C. Guided reading. D. Independent reading. E. Shared writing. F. Interactive writing. Okay, let we see kung ano ba talaga ang tamang sagot. Okay? The correct answer is letter B. Interactive read aloud. Okay? Kasi nga po, di ba? Teachers or students read out loud together. The teacher can cover up certain part of the text, a letter, a word, or a phrase. Okay? And then number 2. The student will read the same book appropriate to their reading level. The teacher introduces the book, points out vocabulary words, and allows the student to do a picture walk. Then student will have to read the book on their own, at their own pace, while the teacher listens and assists. The teacher prepares a comprehension check afterwards. Okay, what is the answer? A. Shared reading. B. Interactive read aloud. C. Guided reading. D. Independent reading. E. Shared writing. F. Interactive writing. Okay, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is guided reading. Okay. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is the class collaboratively creates a written work. The teacher models the writing and the student help in composing it. The teacher models a range of skills like grammar, phonics, punctuation, spelling, and the writing process itself. Who wants to answer the number 3, or what is the correct answer in the number 3, on the number 3? A. Shared reading. B. Interactive read aloud. C. Guided reading. D. Independent reading. E. Shared writing. F. Interactive writing. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is F. Interactive writing. Why? Because tulad nga po ng sinabi dito is the teacher molds a range of skills like grammar, phonics, punctuation, spelling, and the writing process itself. Okay po. Okay, that's all. And now may I call Miss Mara Bondoc to continue our report. Thank you po.
Good day, I'm Mara Bondoc to continue discuss the teaching for meaning and accuracy. Abstract. In this part, your task this time is to figure out the characteristics of a balanced literacy instruction. Sinasabi dito sa abstract kung naintindihang mabuti ang unang tinalakay. Ito ay ang analyze activity. May papakita rin dito ang pagde-describe ng isang estudyante kung naintindihan niya mabuti ang unang aktibidad. May papakita rin sa abstract ang whole to part instruction situation, part to whole instruction situation, at ang huli ay may bibigyan ng kasagutan ang balance method. Ang halimbawa ko sa abstract ay ang pagbabasa ng isang estudyante ng kwento at ang guro ay magbibigay ng katanungan tungkol sa kanyang nabasang kwento. Apply. Dito sa apply ay maisasagawa na ang natutunan sa mga aralin. Ang guro ay gagawa ng 2 aktibidad na may kaugnayan sa Mother Tongue Curriculum Guide. Dapat dito matutukoy ang learning competencies, teaching method, use part to whole, whole to part, at ang balance literacy, title of the activity, at ang description of the activity. Sa apply din matutukoy ng isang guro kung saan mas nahihirapan ng isang estudyante, kung ito ba ay sa pagbabasa o pagbibigay ng paliwanag sa nabasa. Mas mapapadali rin ng mga estudyante pagdating sa salita. Ang halimbawa ko na aktibidad dito ay magbabasa ang guro sa harap ng mga estudyante. At ang mga estudyante ay matutukoy ang title at ang description sa naturang aktibidad.